Moving ahead now, technology is changing fast, and the way we live our lives is affected by the disruption of this reality.
The changing trends and introduction of new technology could change the way people, especially the Nigerian youth in business, interact with their market. All of these come under the fourth industrial revolution, which many people say could enhance productivity and at the same cause job losses in the country.
How must Nigerians adapt to ensure they remain relevant in these times? These are some of the questions in the minds of Nigerians now. We have joining us right now, Remy Dairo. He is someone who has been working with a lot of young people and motivating people to get better in their lives. Good morning, Remy. Nice to see you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Pleasure to be here.
Now, there is the issue of Nigerians or young people embracing technology. And the more technology you imbibe, the faster the work gets and the less of other people you need. And then at the same time, we're looking for employment for everyone. So how do we balance this?
So I think, good morning, everybody.
Yes.
I think it's time for Nigerian youth to reposition. We need to reposition the kind of thing we learn now. The kind of education, the kind of discussion, and the kind of skill we gather, because this disruption is a reality. Every day things are changing, new apps on your phone, new things on the internet, and then before you know, what you learned yesterday or what you learned an hour ago, you could
it's already still.
So there will be major unemployment. In fact, it was said that 60% of people who are working today in some industry will be no more in few years to come by this industrial revolution, which is the fourth revolution I'm talking about. Therefore, we need to now look at the new skills, the future of work, and say, what exactly do I need to involve in now so that I don't get stranded or I don't get out of job? So, there are new industries that are going to open up through this technology, and there will be death of some businesses and death of some career, as the case may be. So, how ready are we?
So if we are to begin to look into this direction, like you have said, and it begins with educating people, are you saying that we should begin from schools where we begin to change curriculums such that we can begin to have all of this, talking about tech and all of that in our curriculums in schools?
Good. So the first level is to know exactly what we want as a nation. Okay. What are we prepared for? There must be a vision. So I know we've had a lot of vision in Nigeria, Vision 2020, Vision this, 2020. We have so much vision, but I mean, you and I know where we are. So I think we must have clarity. Where will Nigeria be in the next 20 years? Can we prepare the curriculum from now? And let me quickly help to understand that the curriculum we are using today, or a few years ago, was because we wanted to change, wanted to send away the white men and then get the white-collar job. So let the white men go. Let's prepare the people to go and get job. Now, the things have changed. Since 1963 that we got this independence, things have really changed.
Yeah,
so
you mean the Republic?
The Republic, yeah. Then we must now begin to now say, how are we going to prepare the new generation for the new future of work? So it must affect our curriculum. And then the kind of curriculum that will prepare us is called the STEM curriculum, which is the science, technology, arts, mathematics, as the case may be. So what the word is saying is prepare your young generation for that disruption. In fact, they can be the one to disrupt, the industry and then create a new, a new industry or a new invention or a new career, as the case may be. But I also think apart from that, we also need to discuss. So young people are going to lose their jobs. The reality is going to lose their job. It's going to increase productivity, but some are going to get out of job. So we need to have a discussion. So at the Institute of Productivity and Business Management, we are organizing events and meetups, innovation meetups, where people sit down to discuss the future of work, to discuss the disruption in businesses and career, and then how can people reposition.
In discussing this future, is it okay for young people to discover their own trend? Because sometimes you sit down, the society is moving in a certain direction, not because someone said let's go that way, but because that's the trend. Or you feel that government should deliberately, champion everybody or guide everybody towards a certain direction.
So there's a part for government to play, which is the vision and the curriculum education direction. There's also a part for individuals to get ready and set. There's a part for community to begin to discuss the future. Right. So it is this discussion
so
that
it's an interwoven
thing. It's 360 degrees in our discussion, because innovation is a reality of productivity. Now, today's productivity is no more hard work, sweating. Yeah. It is how efficient, how fast. In fact, you don't need to appear in the office again to get results. You can be at home or work from home and get a mega result. Why? Because you know what to do. So work today has become flexible, collaboration, and the Internet of Things are making things to happen.
How do you feel I am home and I'm presenting the program? Let me ask you a question.
Fantastic. That is coming very soon.
All right, we have to leave you here now. Remy Dairo, thank you so much for coming on the program. Thank you. Right. We have joining us now Remy Dairo, President, Institute of Productivity and Business Innovation Management. Nice to have you join us, Remy.
Thank you for joining us.
Now, there is the call for Nigerians, young people, anywhere to get involved with technology, imbibe technology, use technology, take advantage of technology and all of that. But other times we see a lot of people using the same technology to manipulate the system and all of that. How do we balance, you know, the good technology and bad technology?
There's no good technology or bad technology.
Oh,
technology is just like a knife.
Okay.
It's just
like a two-edged sword.
Two-edged sword. Okay. So you can use it this way, you can use it this way. So it can be good in the hand of somebody who have a good mind. Okay. It can be bad in somebody who have a wrong or bad mind.
Your mind determines.
So your motive, your intention is there.
Yeah. So I think the first thing is we should have a vision as a country. When we have a vision as a country and then we're able to drive the citizenry towards that vision, people begin to think, how can I align with the vision? What can I do to partake out of the benefits of this technology? But if there's no vision, if there's no clarity of where the country is going in a few years, or unemployment and all that, and there's no clarity, people begin to use the tool.
Is that really the challenge? Because like we agreed sometime earlier that we've had all sorts of visions in this country, but what happens to implementation? That's where the challenge is. So
great.
Aligning with implementation, is that the issue now?
There must first be vision. We cannot say because the former visions did not actualize, we can't cancel the purpose and the power of vision. So the first thing is the country must have a clear vision and the implementation strategy of how to achieve that. So part of the strategy is to know that in the next 50, 30 years in this country, some of the jobs that we're doing today will not be no more. So because of that, we need to position the youth from now to position in a way how they can use the fourth industrial revolution to be able to partake of what is going on globally, because jobs will be disrupted. So the country have a clear vision. When we have where we're going to, then we go back to schools and say, okay, how do we now to start from primary school? Because in fact, the statistics say that 60% of the courses they are taking in primary school, pupils are taking in primary school today, will not be relevant to the job they will do in the future. I mean, we are just wasting their time in classroom. So we need to change that. Then the youth itself have to decide exactly where do I plug myself in. If the mind is porous and the mind is just free, then I can use what I think to do what I want to do. So if I have a phone and I have data, what would I use that data for? Do I know I can profit with having the data on my phone? Do I know the apps on my phone? Do I know what app to use to get what done in a positive way? Who is paying me? Who is giving me that environment to explore what I carry within? So
and what inspirations do you have?
So if the schools are not teaching that, if the schools are not giving that environment, you see people coming out of that block and say, let me do something else.
Do we have mentorship enough? Because sometimes the schools might not situate and capture this situation enough. The issue or concept of mentoring, where you have a link with someone who has, for instance, you are there, like a lot of people connected to you to get direction and all of that. Do we have that enough?
So that is what the Institute of Productivity and Business Innovation Management does. We have a block of experts in that area, in the ecosystem, who will discuss what's called innovation meetup, where we discuss with youths on how to position themselves in the future work. Then we also have in our school where there are mentors who help these young people to find their path in whatever area that they find. So the people who are already doing well in this, and Nigeria is so blessed. We have people who are already doing well in that sector. Okay. So anywhere you find your inspiration, you can't always plug yourself in if you find the right group and the right platform to do that.
All right. Remy Dairo, thank you so much for your insight into this.
Pleasure.
Thank you. And joining us is Remy Dairo, President, Institute of Productivity and Business Innovation Management. And so I throw that question to you now. How must Nigerians adapt to ensure they remain relevant?
Right, so I think the first thing we need to do is to have a clear plan for the future of Nigeria. We should not just keep going like that. We should have the future in mind, because Nigeria is part of the world and the world is changing. And the fourth industrial revolution is a new disruption. Is the combination of the AI, autonomous vehicle, Internet of Things, and a lot of other things together with how we live our life, how it's affecting human. So before you know, we will live what we are doing today into a different way. So the first thing is to have a clear plan for that future. Number two is to start discussing, is to start to have innovation meetups, meetings where young people are discussing about the future, the future of work, the kind of business of the future, and then align themselves with this kind of reality, because they will be disrupted or they'll be the disruption. It's either you are in the side of the of the device. So we need to prepare for that. And if you are not prepared for it, it will happen. It's a reality. So Nigeria is part of the world. So the question is, we must be ready to take up that.
But if you check the level of awareness in the society, awareness in the context of education on one hand, illiteracy, ignorance, and even exposure, if you check the level and the ratings of where Nigeria is right now, how challenging is it for Nigeria to take advantage of that gap, that technology gap?
I think our education system is where the error is. The kind of education we have today it's more of getting people to go and work, go and get a job. And we are not preparing people, young people, for that kind of work of the future, because the student today will work in that future of tomorrow. So there's a difference between learning and education. So there's a difference between knowledge, because a lot of people in the market use the phone, they do transfer, they use a bit of IT here and there. That is the kind of education that can go in that dimension. But the people in the formal sector of education must have a pathway of creativity and innovation in the curriculum, in a way that they can use their hands or their brain in achieving something much more than just cramming and passing the exam. So it must be skill-based. It must be a kind of a STEM education. Science, technology, art, and mathematics must be involved. So we are all thinking, how can I be part of this new...
Perhaps some people do not understand the benefits. So by way of education, you might just want to talk about that.
Yes. So many people don't even know that the kind of job they are doing today will be disrupted in a few years to come. It will not be available anymore. It will not be existing anymore. So number one is to know that this thing I'm doing might be out of fashion. So if you don't do anything, you are disrupted. So number two is to know that you can even make more money if you align yourself with the new disruption. So you can do much more. You can get better results. You can make more money because you are using all the available resources and technology, advances and applications available to take your production or resource to the end of the world, and you can make much more. Number three is to know that this technology can help to enhance the inspiration or capacity that you have within you. And I tell you what is really selling globally today is local content. But the question is, we are so loaded with local content in the village, in nooks and crannies, but the question is not seen or known globally. So we need to take advantage of that.
All right, Remy Dairo, thank you for speaking with us.
Thank you very much.